Hey, it's Lee for On Your Marks Wrestling, and I'm here with a New Japan Pro Wrestling Best of the Super Juniors 25 review. This is part 2 from June 4th, 2018. This is more of a general card with the final from the Super Juniors. So we start off with the typical New Japan Pro Wrestling mixed tag matches with multiple number of opponents. The first one is a straight up tag match. So it's Tiger Mask and a young boy called Shota versus Flip Gordon and Chris Sabin. Flip Gordon, I just wrote, is incredible with these half kind of kip ups or nip ups, and he eventually does the walking on his hands thing. Very impressive. Other than that, though, pretty standard match. Nothing to really mention. I did write that Gordon eventually gets the victory after his springboard 450 off of his knees. So basically, he kind of jumps up, bounces off of his knees off the top rope, and does a full flip and lands on the guy. Impressive. Kind of a filler match, but an entertaining one at that. The next match is Suzuki. It's a 6-man tag. It's Minoru Suzuki, Taka Michinoku, and it's Izuka, I forget what his other name is, versus Yano, Yoshihashi, and Ishii. And Suzuki-gun attacks early, as they always do, and it brawls to the outside, as it always does, and they use multiple things like chairs and whatever. As always happens, it's fine. It's what happens with Suzuki-gun. You have to expect it. There are multiple biting spots with Izuka. Eventually, though, Ishii bites Izuka, so he gets it back, kind of deal. This match is all cheating. It's just who can cheat best. At the very, very end, Yano gets kind of poked in the eye, but he eventually hits a low blow, and he gets a pin on Michinoku. So that's the end of that match. I'm going with short notes on these. I did not write a ton of moves because there weren't that many memorable things. The next match is Tai Chi with Miko Abe, I think is her name. Desperado and Karamaru versus Sho, Yo, and Goto. So the Roppongi 3K team, they show really good teamwork early on. Lots of kind of tandem moves with Goto. The other guys, though, take over by taking the fight to the outside, starting to use chairs, things like that. Sho's leg is attacked at one point. It doesn't really become a theme. I wrote that Goto's spinning wheel kick in the corner is a really cool looking move. I always like it. He always hits it perfectly. Eventually, though, Yo gets misted by some whiskey. I guess it's not whiskey. No, it is whiskey. Sorry. And even though he gets hit with the whiskey, he manages to counter the deep impact move by Kanemaru, and he turns it into a bridging pin and gets the win for his team. Tai Chi used his mic at one point to attack in this. This is basically, it was a match, and it felt like it was doing something, but at the end of the day, I think the only thing it was really doing was setting up the Tai Chi versus Goto match at Dominion, which I believe there's a third member. I cannot for the life of me remember who it is right now. Michael Elgin, maybe? I think it's Michael Elgin. It was fine. The next match was Yujiro Tanahashi with a girl called Nana, so it's not that Peter. And he's teamed up with Marty Scurll, so it's Bullet Club, versus Hanare and Hiroshi Tanahashi. So there are 2 Tanahashis in this, just to make it nice and complicated on me. Early on, Scurll flips the bird to a fan that's dressed as Jushin Thunder Liger. And then he just kind of walks over to Jushin Thunder Liger, who's doing Japanese commentary, and he flips him the bird there too. There's a Fisherman Buster by Yujiro, which gets a near fall. There's eventually a low angle DDT that he gets the win over Hanare with. There's other stuff in between, obviously. I'm skipping some stuff, but there wasn't all that much that was special about this match. The Hiroshi Tanahashi had a little kind of like run, but it wasn't anything amazing, anything to kind of hold on to. After the match, Scurll hits Tanahashi with his umbrella, and then he locks in a chicken wing and Liger jumps off of commentary and gets into the ring, takes his shirt off, gets into the ring, and kind of scares away Skrull. The big takeaway was Liger is a very impressive physical specimen for a dude who's in his 50s, because that guy's got a body of a 30-year-old in really good shape. The next match was ACH, Dragon Lee, Taguchi, and Kushida versus Bushi, Sonata, Evil, and Naito. Not much to say here. Very little Naito in this match, almost none. What did I write here? It said the most interesting spot of the match was a missed Taguchi hip attack, which was just kind of funny to see a guy just fly by and completely miss the move. Sonata eventually wins it with a Dragon Sleeper on ACH. This match was kind of a setup for what happened after. Right after the match, there's a screen that comes up, and it's Chris Jericho on there, and he's cutting a promo on Naito. Reminds Naito that even though Naito went on last at Wrestle Kingdom 12, Chris Jericho was the main event. Jericho versus Omega. He says that he's going to make Naito famous by just wrestling against him, but that he's going to beat him. And then he swears a bunch, calls him F-face. I'm trying to keep the language clean. When we get back to the ring, though, we see that Naito's pretending to sleep in the ring. Says that Chris Jericho talks too much. Couldn't he shorten it up a little bit? And then he also says that Jericho has his he's setting up a camera so that he can cut a promo. He's saying he's got too much time on his hands. So it's kind of like I think it worked both ways. I thought Jericho's little bit was really good. I don't know if I need the swearing, but I guess that's the route he's going right now. And I thought that Naito brushing him off like he's a nobody is kind of cool. The next match is Will Ospreay and Okada versus Chase Owens and Kota Ibushi. Owens and Ibushi early on are working really well together. Owens hits a really pretty Death Valley driver where he basically kind of bounced the guy off the ropes and then he kind of flung him out a little bit, and it happened to Ospreay. It just looked really nice. Ospreay and Ibushi hit simultaneous Pele kicks and end up kind of lying flat on their stomachs, staring each other down, and they start attacking each other with really quick strikes. It was kind of impressive. Eventually, Ibushi hits his golden triangle, which is the moonsault off the corner. Owens is left in the match with Okada. He attempts to land his package pile driver type thing, which is his finisher, but Okada manages to pop out of it. Eventually, Okada lands his Rainmaker, and he gets the win with that move. Now, he lands his Rainmaker after landing what looks like a V trigger, so it kind of sends a message to Kenny Omega. And then we get the final match of the night, which is the final of the Super Juniors. It's Takahashi versus Ishimori. This match went quite a long time. Pretty entertaining throughout, though. No complaints. It's just it was meant to go long. It had no time limit. I'm pretty sure it went about 35 minutes, something in that range. The fight at one point goes up into the stands, and Takahashi runs from one end of the stands to the other to deliver a missile dropkick. Very impressively. Lots of speed on it. On the way back down, though, Ishimori manages to use a chair and regains the advantage. Ishimori hits a really nice German suplex when they get back into the ring. Do I have more notes? No, just one page. Good. Takahashi lands a sunset bomb. He'd been kind of blocked a few times, but he finally lands one. There's a cross-face by Ishimori for quite a long time. I believe the setup move for Takahashi is called the Dynamite Plancha. Oh, excuse me. I'm not sure that's the case, but it's basically the move he hits before he usually hits his finisher. And in this case, Takahashi only hits it for a near fall. He hits a really cool kind of package move in the corner where it looks like he's going to go do kind of corner Frankensteiner, but instead he turns himself around and does a front flip and hooks his legs behind the guy's arms. I just thought it looked really cool. Ishimori then gets caught in a triangle for a really long time, but he manages to power out after like 3 attempts. There's a butterfly type pile driver by Takahashi on Ishimori. It's the same one that he landed the night before, where it seemed to land right on his head. In this case, it looked a lot safer. But yeah, it's basically kind of like a very vertical pile driver, really driving the guy on his neck. Pretty dramatic. Ishimori fights out of another triangle. There is eventually though, there's Hiromu, I'm struggling with his name. Hiromu Takahashi does manage to hit his time bomb finisher after an initial failed try, and he gets the win that way. So Takahashi is the best of the Super Juniors, has his trophy. Will Ospreay, he calls out Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay comes out to the ring, and he basically tells him, congratulations, you won, but I'm going to beat you at Dominion, so we know that match is going to happen. He leaves the ring, and Takahashi basically meows at him or something like that, and Ospreay just goes, oh man, now he's going to get it, kind of deal. I thought it was pretty funny. Yeah, that's pretty much the end of the show. There's Lawson I can't even say their name. LIJ come out and they celebrate with him a little bit, but that's about it. So second night, thankfully, was a little bit shorter than the first night. I thought the first night had better wrestling. The second night was a lot of filler and a couple decent matches. Really, the finale, I will say, the final match was very good, especially considering how long it went. Not as entertaining a night as the first night, in my opinion. Though I did like that Jericho showed up, that was cool. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 7.5 out of 10. Just a little notch below, but still a pretty good show. Fun to watch. I apologize for stumbling over my words a lot. I am very beat right now. I'm very tired. But yeah, that's my New Japan review. I will have other reviews. My Raw review is going to be a little bit late this week, if you ever watch that. Check out other reviews on the channel. I don't really promote it that well, but we do have plenty of videos to watch. This is a 2-man channel. My friend Rob posts a lot of videos up there. He's much more strongly opinionated than I am, so check him out, and we'll call it a night. Thanks for watching.